Welcome back to another episode of Bodybuilding and Business.
Don't just leave it, dude. Just let it play out.
I don't
dude.
know if we were recording yet. Okay. I hit the button already.
All right, man.
I don't know if that's
dude,
if it's gonna catch that or not.
People just got to realize if you listen to our last episode, it is what it is, dude. You know what I mean?
It is what it is. King Dingaling.
King Dingaling, dude.
You were talking about yourself. Hey, dude, we're back for another one.
It's what we're here for, man.
I need to stop breathing into the microphone so much.
Yeah, you breathe like a fat bitch. I mean, a fat. You I breathe guess like
sometimes I do.
You're out of shape.
I like sigh into the microphone sometimes, and I hear it, and it does not sound appealing.
You look studious, though.
I look like
but with the glasses and the heavy breathing, you know who you remind me of? Dude, if you get this just from that.
Chucky Finster from Rugrats.
No, but
he's got glasses.
That'll work.
And he mouth breathes.
That'll work. But you were on same era, cartoon, Nickelodeon.
Nigel?
No, dude.
Okay.
Not Nigel. I'm pretty sure he has glasses.
Heavy breathing. Was there a guy on Doug that heavy breathed? No. Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold,
yep,
dude.
You got him. Heavy breather on Hey Arnold.
Yep. I'll give it to you.
Man, nice
job, dude.
I was right on with cartoon.
Dude, the fact that you went to cartoon, I was surprised right off the bat.
In my head, I saw it right away.
No, you didn't, because Chucky has red, long, crazy hair and is a 2-year-old.
Yes, but he used to mouth. You're right. The other guy on Hey Arnold for sure was like this in the background. I'm not gonna do it in the microphone. He was like,
yep.
And I remembered that Chucky was always hyperventilating.
Yes, he had asthma.
Did he?
Pretty sure.
As a 2-year-old?
I'm pretty sure he had asthma. I might be making it up. But it'd be very fitting.
It sounds like you're making it up.
I haven't watched it since.
Me either, dude.
I don't know.
Remember when they tried to make them go older and that was weird?
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch any of that.
Yeah.
It's Rugrats.
Well, you did because you said that it was weird.
No, I saw like them make it. I didn't watch it.
You're a liar. It's all right, dude.
All right. I don't remember how I was going to transition this into what we want to talk about today, but I got a bone to pick with a bunch of these peoples.
Which bone? Because I feel like we got like 3,000 bones to pick.
The rubber band bone.
Oh, you went there.
And by peoples, I mean...
You were pretty upset, dude.
I mean people at the warehouse gym.
Carroll Stream, 22 Commonwealth Drive. Come see us.
601-88.
If you know people and are a referral and...
Right. Don't come if you are not a referral.
Don't come if you're a nobody. We don't want you.
You have to be a referral from somebody who knows somebody who knows...
The people.
I slingshot that rubber band across the gym at 5 a.m. the other day.
I sure hope you picked it up.
I did, and I put it back to where it was supposed to go.
Oh, let me guess. It doesn't go attached to the hack squat.
No, that's not its home.
Bingo.
Believe it or not.
Weird.
Not
fooled me.
Home. I looked up the number yesterday or whenever the day was that I slingshotted across the gym. And as angry as this makes me, I don't want to talk about it forever. I just want to
let's give it like a
hammer
3 to 5 minute rant.
I just want to hammer home
because I do think people need to understand. There is a plus side to using it if and when needed, right?
We've talked about this.
To look cool and do 3 times the weight you should be doing is not the reason.
We've talked about this before. There are some high-level athletes that use it to relieve knee pain and tension at the bottom of their hack squat movement. Correct me if I'm wrong. None of you at the warehouse gym are that high-level athlete.
Correct. And maybe some of you, I don't know, do actually suffer from knee pain. But number 1, not all of you. Number 2,
it's not from the hack squat. It's because you don't have proper mobility and flexibility in your knees and ankles. It has nothing to do with this knee.
Bang, bang, boom.
This knee pain is not from the hack squat. Hack squat does not equal knee pain. You having poor mobility and flexibility equals knee pain. So instead of using a Band-Aid like a rubber band, just go stretch.
Yep.
And get better. Then besides that, like I said, besides the 1% of people who are using it because they do have knee pain and they are an elite level athlete that needs it to relieve that pressure, who are probably squatting 8, 9, however many plates on a hack squat. No one at the gym is them. So if you're watching your favorite pro do it, you're not your favorite pro.
Yes.
And stop copying them. Secondly, if you're using it because it makes your Instagram video look cooler, stop. Your
Because
Instagram,
anyone who could do math does not think that it is cool anymore. If you got, let's say you're typically doing sets with 3 plates, right?
Yep.
Which on this specific hack squat is actually pretty challenging, okay?
yeah, it feels heavy.
Let's say now with the band, you have 5 plates on each side.
I'm following.
Okay, so you added 180 pounds to your 3 plates, right?
Yep.
Well, the band Pat is talking about, if used from the bottom up, is 140 pounds of resistance. If used from the top to bottom, like you guys are doing, it's 140 pounds of assistance. So for your video that you just added 4 total plates, 2 on each side, thinking that to the viewers, you added 180 pounds to what you're typically doing your working sets with, you really only added 40 pounds.
And you're giving so much credit right now. None of them even know how much that band helps in assistance, and they don't know the math. They really don't.
Well, it's simple math, really.
It's very simple, but they're not even, you gave them credit for thinking that they were doing the math and thinking they're adding that resistance to nope, they're not. They're doing it because it's cool and they think it looks cool. They don't know the numbers at all. For those of you that are wondering, that green band, because again, we're talking about the warehouse specifically, that green band that keeps finding its way under the hack squat that doesn't belong there is 54 to 74 kilograms of resistance, which is 2.2 kilograms per pound. You're looking at, what is it, 140 to 100?
I think we calculated, yes, it was like close to 140.
Yeah.
I just threw that number out there, but it's out there.
I think it's a range of like 100 and whatever, right? So like, or 120 to 100.
It's a lot of assistance.
You're taking the plates you're putting on there away.
There's no point.
You're just wasting your energy putting more plates on the bar and then putting that band on to take those weights right off again.
And I get it. You've seen, like Pat said, some top level pros do it and whatever. But guess what? The only person you're hurting is yourself. You're not getting stronger by doing that.
You're not getting stronger. You're not getting better because you're not going to, you're never going to,
better at the movement.
If the band is helping take pressure off your knee, you're never going to make your knees any better. Your knees aren't going to miraculously get better because you're using the band to help take the pressure off. You're just, again, slapping a Band-Aid on top of your ailment, hoping that it gets better.
Yep.
It's not getting any better. Take the weight off, learn how to do the movement right, and build from nothing.
And we're not even trying to just be dickheads, right? Like, in a sense, it is kind of annoying that every morning we come in there and somebody leaves the band all the way on. And I'm not going to lie.
True story. Yesterday, I don't remember what day it was. I walked over to say goodbye to somebody in the gym who was on the hack squat, and the band was on there. And I was furious, and I started to yell at that person, and the person legitimately said, it was a female, legitimately said, I couldn't get it off.
I was just going to say,
it's
for you and me, we can get it off, but I have to fucking pull to get that thing off.
It's that
If I was
strong.
a little 120-pound girl or a 120-pound guy, probably wouldn't be able to get that thing off very easily. If you're going to use it, which again, me and Pat totally disagree on doing it, at least fucking take the thing off. Have the common decency. It's the same sense of racking your plates.
I was just about to say that.
If you're going to use it and you want to not listen to what we're saying and just get better in other aspects, right? Go ahead, fucking use it. We're still going to talk shit about it, but go ahead and use it.
Just put it away.
Take it off. Put it back.
Don't be the dickhead who leaves 6 plates on the leg press. It's the same thing.
Yep.
Don't be the person who leaves the rubber
he's
band.
fired up when he said dickhead.
Yep. You don't be the same person by leaving the rubber band on the hack squat. Take it off. 1, you don't need it. 2, it's not supposed to be there. So if you do,
3,
if you don't put it on,
if you are doing it and you're doing more plates than normal and you think it's impressive, me and Pat low key in our brain, not even in our brain because out loud are talking shit. So take it off.
yeah, if you think you've posted a video about your hack squat and thought it looked cool, we saw the band. We talked about it.
We see everything.
We do see everything.
So yeah, dude, bands will make her dance though.
Everything comes back to 2 Chainz.
Dude, fucking 2 Chainz.
He kind of makes the world go round.
He does. Titty Boy makes the world go round. You know?
Watch out, little bitch.
I couldn't see
You know.
two. Well, your C is backwards, I think. That was supposed to be a C, though, right?
Yep.
Okay, two. Yeah. Is that a B?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was a B.
Okay.
What's it stand for?
I still think you want me to steal third. No? Okay. I saw T, C, B, 4, D.
2 chains, 4 bracelets.
Oh,
Come on, dude.
I
Only true fans of 2 Chainz will know that.
whatever, dude.
All right, so now that I'm done ranting about rubber bands,
Bands make good dance.
yep, we're gonna talk about something today, something important
I hope
today.
Sarno Sound Solutions plugs in some 2 Chainz there, but changes it somehow. Therefore, we don't get monetized for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
S Cubed, work on that for us. Sarno Sound Solutions, help us out with that one.
Yeah.
We keep getting some questions because we ask for the questions.
Yeah, that's
So
what we do.
we ask for questions. You guys give them. We appreciate that. We don't appreciate bands. We appreciate questions. They help the podcast. They help you guys. We've been getting a lot of questions.
Bands do not help you guys.
Bands don't help
I
you
see what
guys.
you did there. Nice job.
About business.
This the business.
Business.
Yeah.
That's the one.
You know what? My business. My business.
That's what I was going to get into, but I
Yeah.
stalled, dude.
Okay, so we're about business because apparently we don't talk about business enough. So we're going to talk.
Should we reflect on that a little bit? The name bodybuilding and business, and everyone thinks that like automatically we're just supposed to talk about business.
First of all, if you go back to episode 1, we say we're doing this because we want to. We're going to talk about
Whatever the fuck we want.
whatever we want to talk about. We are bodybuilding and business because that's what we do all day long.
Our business revolves around bodybuilding.
So
Granted, we did say if you guys have questions about bodybuilding or anything business related, we would answer them,
Yep.
right? We have experience with business. We both own businesses. Pat has ran other businesses. I have ran other businesses outside of the fitness industry. So we are open to talking about business, but with bodybuilding and business, yes, our main goal of that was really the fact that we are in the business of bodybuilding. Our businesses, our main sources of income revolve around fitness in the bodybuilding world.
right. So when you just say talk more about business, you're not giving us anything to talk about.
Yeah.
We have our own businesses that revolve around bodybuilding. We could talk about our businesses. We could talk about the business of bodybuilding, like how promoters make money. By you just saying talk about business gives no direction to what you want us to talk about. So we thought we'd help you guys out,
Talk about business.
and we'll talk about business in the way that we think you're interpreting it.
Well, we do have the one question that I feel kind of
What is it?
it kind of flows off
Okay.
and answers everyone else's questions in a sense, right?
Yep.
A lot of people had many similar questions, but I think this one will lead into just covering pretty much everything,
I hope.
maybe. And if not, ask more specific
Fingers crossed.
questions.
Yeah. If you don't
Like we
like,
get questions like, talk more about training. Okay. Well, what do you want us to talk about? Ask us.
marathon running,
Yes.
marathon training.
I can talk to you about marathon running.
can.
Not that I have ever done it, but I have trained people for it.
I could run a marathon.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Anyways.
I could.
The question.
Yeah. What is it? Lay it on me.
Heard a lot about bodybuilding so far. Duh.
Shocker.
How about the business side? What goes into starting a business?
Yeah. So this one does kind of lead. Good job.
You like that?
Good research. We work in R&D. So it says what goes into starting a business.
Investors? Could be you.
We're going to talk about how Greg started his business, his main business. We're not going to go into any side ventures right now. We're going to keep it real.
Don't tell them about. Never mind.
We're going to keep it real simple.
I was gonna go X-rated, but
Don't. Plus, you've got people on a cliffhanger, and we're not even going to touch on any of that stuff.
cliffhangers.
Yeah. I hope they're just holding on by their fingertips.
Because of what I just said.
No, because you've been like posting stuff and people are like, what is the...
Oh, dude, I even got you on a cliffhanger there.
I don't think so.
I don't think you know.
I know something.
Well, the only person who knows is Big Meech.
You already asked me about something with the Big Meech. Do you remember?
No.
You talked to me about a lot of things. I might not know. I'm not saying that to be cocky or conceited, but you already asked for my help in something.
I asked for your help.
You did. I know.
What?
Weird. Greg never asks for help ever.
I was going to say, dude, hold on.
We'll go on a tangent. I do want to answer these questions. I want to get into this part for you guys.
Yeah.
Just so everyone at home, listening, watching, understands, Greg and my relationship works this way. Greg needs help.
I'm excited to hear.
Greg needs help on something, but tells me he doesn't need help. And what I do is, since I met him back then, I just linger long enough to where I'm available to help when he's ready for it.
Listen,
and I've played
I
a very
don't like inconveniencing
I've
people.
played a very long game, and now we don't even really do the asking dance anymore. It used to be this whole song and dance that we did where I knew he needed help. I would offer my help. He'd say, "No way, don't need it." I would miss job interviews.
That time I really needed your
You
help.
really needed help there. Should we tell that story?
Go ahead real quick, then we'll get
Very,
into this.
very quick.
Because that was part of me growing my business.
That was part of you growing your business. One day, Greg had purchased some equipment. Greg doesn't like to ask for help. If you don't know, the gym equipment that you use every day is very heavy.
Very heavy.
This specific piece of equipment, I think, has a 300-pound weight stack on it.
350-pound weight stack.
350-pound weight stack.
And the machine itself is probably another 350 pounds.
It's
oddly shaped.
It's a big old piece of equipment. At this time, I was getting ready to go to, it was like a Sunday, why I was going to a job interview on a Sunday, I don't know. I know why, because I know which job it was, but we're not going to talk about that.
Don't let the people know.
I was literally getting dressed up, getting ready to go, getting the nervous jitters out of the way. Get a phone call. Hey man, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to a job interview. What's up? Well, I'm stuck.
How much is this job paying you?
Let's just jump in you because I'm stuck. Greg tried to move an entire 650-pound piece of equipment off of a trailer by himself into the gym.
I almost got it.
And he got about halfway and got stuck.
Then I got
so
stuck.
I immediately drove to the gym, skipped my job interview, and helped get this piece of equipment off of a trailer and into the gym where it belonged.
Wasn't it half on the trailer, half on me? Like I was like up
You were
against the
holding
wall.
it. I honestly think it had fallen on the hitch too.
Yeah.
It like fell off onto the back end, like towards the hitch and the
Yeah,
and
I
it could've
drove
go-
the trailer into the gym.
Yes, the trailer and his Jeep were in the gym, and it could have fallen on the Jeep. I think no, we were going the other way.
No, it could have. If I tried to get it off that hitch,
Yeah, probably.
it could have fallen the opposite way.
So that was just a fun little story of our relationship. So I basically have, for the past 8 years, had to linger around long enough until Greg absolutely needs the help to where there's no point in asking anymore because I'm just there to help him. Now,
That's just who I am as a person. Dude.
no, I get it. I'm not faulting you for it. I'm just explaining
I
that's
don't want to inconvenience anybody.
that's been our relationship. I'm pretty much the same way. I try not to ask you for anything.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I had to think about it.
I'm thinking. I'm like, man. I don't know. Okay, so now that you know about more about our relationship, more about the yin and the yang, the yin to the yang, I'm going to interview you, which is why I have
Spectacles.
spectacles on, so I can look a little more. Would
What's it from?
you say spectacle, tactical,
Testicle.
testicle,
It's from something.
spectacle,
Spectacles.
spectacles?
It's a big one. I know.
I thought they were like merging the two. Okay, say it again.
I don't know what he says after it.
I probably don't know it anyway.
Spectacles. Testicles. Yeah, you've quoted this movie.
Oh, so I do know it.
Yep.
Don't really know it.
If I give anything else,
I'll get
up,
it.
You're gonna
So let me linger on this while we go into this
linger,
thing.
dude. Don't fucking type it into that computer over there.
So I've got the glasses on. We're gonna
You're
make
gonna
this
look up
real
spectacles and testicles.
Real
and then it's
professional.
gonna be a bunch of testicles with just glasses.
with
on
glasses on them.
Yep.
Yep, that makes sense.
Maybe you should Google it real quick.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you some questions
I'm gonna answer.
about starting your business.
Okay.
Again, we're just talking about the gym here.
All right.
We're going real simple. Gym and training.
Got it.
So As we've,
I'm gonna need more Elijah, dude.
do you need more?
No, I'm joking.
You know what we didn't do?
Espresso. I
Didn't
know.
do
I thought about it like right when I walked in. He had the glasses on. I was like, dude, we're ready to go.
Get Big Meech on the horn.
I should text him, like, yo, make a fucking pot.
Yeah, come be a guest on the show. Are we sponsored by anybody today?
Bam Preps, as always.
This episode is sponsored by BAM Preps. Make sure you get your orders in every Monday and Thursday by
job, dude.
midnight in order to get your meals ready for the next week.
Thank you.
Pew, pew. All right. So, as we've talked about on other episodes before, you used to be a trainer and a manager at Bally
Still
Total
am a trainer.
at Bally Total Fitness.
Yes.
Manager, trainer, BTF.
Correct.
After Bally Total Fitness was bought out by LA Fitness,
Yep.
you and a partner who will not be
RIP.
named, who is dead,
Yep.
decided to go off and do your own thing. So, the first thing I want to talk about is how much. Why are you laughing? Is it the glasses?
glasses, dude.
Is it the glasses? Do I not look studious?
No, you look studious, but just you pointing the glasses.
Could I be a professor? Probably.
You look like an English teacher.
Oh, I hated English class.
I actually liked English class. That was weird. I liked English and history and science.
Loved history class.
Yeah,
you know why? You should memorize stuff.
That's pretty much anything, though.
Yeah, but I feel like even though I was pretty good at math, you have to memorize the equation, and then you
formulas
have
and-
to
yeah.
still plug and chug from there. That's a math
Plug and
term,
chug.
plug and chug.
Got it. I'm chugging.
You are chugging. I'm plugging. So, first question is, how much were you making at Battle Royale? How much were you making at Bally Total Fitness before feeling comfortable enough to step away and start a gym that we will not name?
It's kind of a personal question, Patrick.
Listen, this is a safe
All right,
place.
if I'm being honest with you,
It's a safe place.
Bally Total Fitness was probably the best company from a corporate standpoint, okay, to personal train for, okay? So not only did I get salaried managing, right? So if I'm not mistaken, my exact split, I want to say, was a 50-50 split at that time, meaning I was getting a $50,000 salary with $50,000 bonus potential, okay, from a management standpoint, okay? On top of that, okay, I had commissions that are separate than the bonuses. Like if
You don't
I
have to go too into
bonuses were for hitting my quotas, right?
Yeah.
And then you got commissions. Like if I was selling training packages to new members enrolling and then ditching those off to trainers.
Right.
So I got 10% commissions on that. And I was selling probably about, depending on the month, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 of extra training a month. Okay. And then I would still be able to train outside of my managing hours, which I would train several hours in the morning, a little bit mid-afternoon, a little bit after my hours, right? And those I was making $48 a session. I think I was charging like 90 something. And after they take their cut, I was getting like 48, which I was getting ripped off. But at the time,
Right.
between managing, bonuses, commissions,
right.
and training, I was clearing well over six figures while being a young kid living at home with my parents, you know?
Great.
I mean, I started there at 18. You know, I started managing 6 months in.
And that's what I wanted to get that number out there in case somebody was maybe confused as to how this whole thing happens, right?
Yeah.
How you go from being paid a paycheck from somebody else to no longer relying on that. So you were
granted though, you asked how I was comfortable to make that step from leaving Bally, but regardless of what I was making,
Right.
the comfort wasn't necessarily there. Again, I was young and dumb, so I was
gonna get
blowing a decent amount of the
Yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah.
I was always good at saving a little bit, right?
Right.
But I traveled a ton at that age. I was going out. I was doing whatever, right?
Right.
Buying motorcycles, cars. But I was still saving a decent chunk, which helped me when coming to the point of actually moving into the business.
Yep.
But I didn't choose necessarily to leave Bally, right? When Bally got bought out, it was an obligation. It was, okay, work for LA Fitness, which was a shit company to work for.
Yep.
You lose the salary, you lose the health benefits. They don't really keep management positions.
Right.
So it was, okay, do I stay here and go from making a great living,
Sure.
something that I thought could turn definitely into a career, to, hey, you're going to work for $12 an hour.
Right. And that's why I made the point in saying once LA Fitness bought Bally out, you made that transition.
Yeah.
I like how you made a point of saying living at home. You were not having to pay rent, which is
Correct. I was very fortunate. My parents never asked for $1.
that's not for you, but that's for anyone who's listening. That's a big thing. If you're
Yeah.
living at home right now, save that money.
Save it. Save it.
I know you think that's just life advice. That's business advice. Save your money. So made the decision to leave. I know this, but we'll just retouch on it really quickly. Besides the savings you were able to put aside when leaving Bally, because you were kind of forced to leave Bally, but when leaving Bally, the other bonus that you had was you had a list of clients already.
Correct.
You weren't just managing, not training clients and leaving and hoping to start the business or start a training business without a book of business already.
Correct.
You had clients that were already working with you and probably a decent amount that weren't but wanted to.
There was still risk involved, right? It
Yes.
wasn't a perfect scenario because it took us about a year by the time we found location, found equipment, opened up the doors, all of that. Getting permits, that was a bitch, right?
Right.
So when Bally originally got bought out, my ex-partner, okay, he immediately spent 10 grand and made his garage air conditioned, put flooring in there, some dumbbells, med balls, whatever. And he was doing boot camps out of there. He basically took all of his clients and started doing group classes. Excuse me. Something I don't really agree with, but that's what he was doing.
Yep.
So he was doing classes all day long out of his garage, no overhead. That was it. For me, okay, I was running my dad's pizzeria then. I was like, okay, well, got no other option right now until we figure something out. I was back full time there, which before I was just going in from like 8 to midnight, right? I was back full time there every day, not collecting a check. I told my dad, I said, hey, listen, I got money saved. He's had surgeries at this point. I said, you go home, let me run this full time until I figure out my next move, right? So I was working for free there, and I was doing some in-home clients where I was going to their house, but I only had 4 clients at that time that I was actually going to their house. And then I had about 5 more clients that were just doing online, right? So it was very minimal income still coming from personal training.
Right.
But the hopes were I was staying in contact with everyone, letting them know, hey, we're going to be opening up. I'm going to be opening up a training studio. So I was trying to keep them in the loop in hopes that, you know, the 30 plus in-person clients that I had
Right.
were going to carry over and follow. Right. And I think within the first month, I was back to over about like 20 something clients, you know?
And that speaks volumes for who you are as a trainer and as a person. So like, again, I don't want somebody to think that that'll happen to everyone in every case, because guess what? You can't rely on that. You can't.
These are
rely
people
on,
I had relationships with, though.
Right, but
I was
even-
training them at this point for 5 years, maybe a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
But just to give people a little bit of insight, in this business of training, as you and I
years.
have both learned, you might think you have a lifer that will just disappear one day, and this money you thought you were making,
Yeah,
you'll
it
never make
happens.
again.
It
So
happens.
again, luckily you had a good rapport with a majority of these people, and they were willing to come back right away. But there is never a guarantee. We don't work in
Never.
we don't work in a business where
it's a constant hustle.
right where there's
Even
ever
now, dude, I've been doing it for what did we say last time? I want to do the math right now.
a long time.
Uh,
won't do the math either.
16 and a half years, you know, and it's still a hustle.
Absolutely.
You know, there's still always fall off, right?
Yep.
Like it's something where you have to constantly be putting yourself out there, marketing yourself and letting your clients market for you. Otherwise you will fail.
Absolutely. So you were able to gain all of those clients back, but when it came time to majority, when it came time to leave the pizzeria full time and to open this private training studio,
Yes, it was not, for those listening, it was not a full gym.
it wasn't a membership based gym. It was just a private.
It was
training
just
studio.
a private training studio.
I'm making the point in saying it was a private training studio because if you've been to the warehouse gym or the previous GVL Fitness, there's a lot of equipment in a very small space. The private training facility was a fraction of the equipment,
to say the least.
like I would honestly say a sixth or an eighth of the amount of equipment. It was much more functional training with even less than an eighth, like
Dude,
a tenth
less than
amount of the
10th,
equipment.
Man, we had I can name the pieces we had off the top of my head.
I said the warehouse and GVL because at one point there was GVL with
Okay,
a
so
smaller amount.
maybe
too.
an
So
eighth of GVL.
yes. So there was
A 20th of the
minimal
warehouse.
minimal equipment, 20th of the warehouse. How much did it cost to get that equipment started up when you first opened the private training studio with minimal equipment?
So when we started with minimal equipment, and granted, we made some mistakes, right? It's a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
We bought everything brand new at that point, right?
If you guys learned anything from the Paul episode, you're going to fail.
You're going to fail. You're
And-
going to learn from it.
and that's okay. So you're going to make a mistake. Be okay with making mistakes.
We could have definitely saved some money, not a ton, but a decent amount if we were more patient and we bought used equipment. But our theory at that time, again, first timers, right, were, hey, listen, we have clients, trainers that all need a place to go.
Right.
The sooner we get this
There's a
done,
demand for it right
the
now.
sooner we secure all of these people, right?
Right.
So we said, screw it. We're not going to be shopping around. You know, at this time, there wasn't, I don't think there was, no, there wasn't a Facebook marketplace. It was literally Craigslist and that's it, you know, so, or eBay. We're like, we're not going to shop around piece for piece and whatever.
At that point, Craigslist was all creepos.
Whores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
Trust anything
You know,
on there.
My partner might have got a couple of those. I don't know.
Yeah, we won't talk
We'll
about
see.
that.
That's what killed him, you know?
It did kill him.
So, anyways,
Equipment.
yeah. So we bought it all brand new. Probably a mistake. Well, it was a mistake. But at the same time, it's questionable because maybe would have not started with the same amount of business that we had if we took longer to do it. So we sucked it up. Our initial investment on equipment alone to get started was 60 grand, right? That's not including anything else that we had to do around the facility itself. You know,
Right.
we had to paint, we had to do some lighting, we buy computers, desks, couches, chairs, all that
TVs
shit,
that were
you
hung
know?
on the wall.
Yeah.
And the original gym, not the actual gym square footage, not the office space.
The actual gym square footage, not including office, was 2,600 square feet.
So for 2,600 square foot gym, again, which for a private training studio was a large amount, but
Yeah,
you
it
guys
was.
had multiple trainers there. It was $60,000.
Yep. That's just equipment.
So in
we
case-
probably spent between furnishing it, painting it, computers, stuff like that, was probably another 10 grand, let's say. So let's call it 70 grand all in to get started.
Something that a lot of people probably also won't think about. So remember, you came from a place, or to the people listening, not remember to you, the people listening, remember, you came from a place where you weren't getting a consistent paycheck at the time. You luckily were living at home making good money before this happened. So you were able to save up and have this money readily available for this investment, right? Because it was an
Correct.
investment in yourself.
Yep.
Besides the equipment, you were also taking on a whole slew of other expenses that people might not think about when they think about starting this
business.
type of a business. So, funny thing about the gym is it's got bathrooms.
You believe that?
I know. It's got bathrooms. So, you're paying for water. It gets cold out. Got to pay to heat it. It gets hot out.
Got to pay to cool it.
Got to pay to cool it.
Granted,
We don't really do a lot of that, but
I don't have air conditioning in the warehouse areas, right?
Right.
Just the office areas.
Right.
But granted, because
Still costs
nothing
a
is
little
insulated
something.
there, right? So
Yeah.
the heat in the summer, especially when we have those doors open in the summer, the heat flows into the front. So if you don't want to die all day, because the gym itself will get to 110 degrees easily, right? So if you don't want to die and you want a spot to cool off, or you want a bathroom to go to the bathroom in without dripping sweat, right? We need to air condition the front.
Yep.
But just to try and keep that thing going, because so much heat is coming through those doors underneath, that room heats up quick. So it's stupid expensive to run the air conditioning in those small little front reception areas.
I believe it.
The heat in the winter, don't even get me started.
Right.
Right now, between the two units, I think is costing close to $1,000 a month just in heat. Because again, you have, 6,000 square feet of non-insulated 22-foot ceilings, cinder blocks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if you want to heat that area, that heat needs to be constantly blowing, especially
Absolutely.
those back doors open and take garbage out or whatever it is.
One gust of cold wind
Cools
chills
down
that
the whole place.
Yep.
Yep.
So again, water, heat, air, internet, right? Because not only do you have to work there, but Jim's always playing music.
Yep.
Can't not have music. Maybe when you first started, you could have put a cassette tape in and let that bad boy run for a while, but not anymore.
Flip side over.
Different
Side
times. Side B. Garbage, because you got to pay to have someone come out and take all that garbage, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of utilities that.
Yeah, and there
on
was stuff
top
that
of-
shocked us. Like we were like, "Oh shit, this is adding up quick."
Yep.
You know.
On top of just the initial equipment fee. And again, this is all before, these are all fees you were taking on
Yeah.
before you got to start training
Before we were actually making
and
money.
making $1.
Yeah. And we pretty much got close to emptying ourselves out at that point, you know? Because again, we were both making good money. But when you put all of your money into it and we threw, I think we left like an extra 10 grand in the kitty,
Yes.
right? And then whatever left we had in our own bank accounts. But like we knew that, hey, like it might take a little bit to replenish this.
Right.
You know?
And even though, well, luckily you had a manager salary on top of your training salary that you were making before, then you went and didn't work for a while. Your partner went and kept working a little bit, but was only making trainer money at BTF, was not making
he was
manager.
no longer getting manager money or anything.
No manager money there. So there was
Still a
enough-
loss for his income. Yeah.
for sure. You had a loss in the sense of
He had
you
to buy his own health
you stopped
insurance,
working.
you know, me as well, you know.
He took a loss in the sense of he went from the manager training down to like nothing, doing group training. Once the gym got opened after those initial expenses, right? We're going to tally up. We said 60 in equipment with everything else included.
70.
Let's go 70. How much did you have to start working right off the bat to not only make that money back, but to then put yourself on, this upward trajectory to, we'll get there eventually, do what you ended up doing and making the personal training facility or the
Gym.
training studio into a gym.
It got to so I mean, it's kind of a loaded question. It's hard. There's a lot of variables at hand, right?
Right.
And
I know
obviously ups and downs,
Most
downs,
of the
and
answer to
downs,
this, though, I
right?
want the people to hear it.
But at my peak, okay,
Mm-hmm.
my peak, I was training 16 clients a day, not including anything else that goes into actually running your own facility, handling shit with him, because at that time we were using the gym as a hub, right? We had other trainers who started coming in. They were paying us rent, right? So their money, me and him paid a percentage of our clients to the business as rent, but my clients were my clients. That was my income. His clients were his clients. It was his income, right? And then anything we did from group training classes, that went to the gym, right? So we were building up the business account slowly by that, right? But me and him were still covering everything extra on our own, right?
Right.
So it's hard to say how quickly or how much I was working to get all of that back,
Sorry,
right?
I didn't mean to focus on the get it back part. I meant just how you had to work in order to start paying those
I was
things
working
off.
On my slowest days, which were my average, were like 16 clients a day. Okay. There were some days that there were 18. And then on top of that, a group class or two, it was stupid. Like it didn't make sense. Right.
Those are 1 hour sessions for anyone who's curious,
Yes,
which would
16
equate to
yes.
a 16-hour workday.
I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours. Remind me, I was also going to the pizzeria, closing everything up, counting all the money, locking everything up, like making sure everything was good, going home, shower, prepping my meals for the next day, and then going to bed. So it was literally like shit.
Should have saved time and prepped them at the pizzeria. That was a rookie mistake on your part. Anyone could have told you that.
I know.
So,
But
again,
look, regardless though, it was a lot of long days.
I got to go left. My knees are killing me.
It was a lot of long days. It was a lot of long hours. And there was really no way around it though, because at that point it was okay, like sink or swim, right? Like this is all I have now, right? I have to make this fucking work. I've dumped everything into it. Like we need to build this up as quickly as possible. And at the same time, I wanted to get my savings back. I wanted to get engaged. I wanted to buy a house. I wanted all of that. So I was like, okay, I need to get all of the money that I just threw up for this business back, plus the money that's going still back into the business. Because at this point, we're still going to be adding equipment, plus our expenses, plus our overhead. You know, we still wanted to try and grow, right?
For sure.
So it was never ending.
Every little thing about it, right? The longer you're working, the longer the lights are on. The more the more the utilities are going up. The more the expenses are going to keep rising.
Correct.
As long as you're continuing to make money. So that's something too that just I didn't mean to ask too much of a loaded question by saying how much did it take to make that money back, because that wasn't the intent of what I wanted to get at. Because, as we just said, the more you worked, the more expenses went up as well. Yes, you made more, but expenses also increased at the same time.
Definitely.
16 hours is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
There's a big thing about people like, I work hard, I do this, I do that. And, you know, this is hard to bodybuild and be able to. 16 hours is double your workday.
Yep.
Average workdays, 8.
What's funny, though, is I have clients who complain to me about how tired they are from work,
Right.
but they work part-time.
I get it.
They're working 16 to 20 hours a week.
I get it. And I'm not saying this to be unsympathetic. Everyone goes through something and has days where they're tired and
For sure.
I'm just
and
talking
let me
about
tell you, I was fucking exhausted.
I'm making this point for somebody who may have a similar dream and want and see what you have and want to build what you've had. But they work their 8 hours shift every day and they're like, oh, I'm just exhausted.
I'm tapped out.
There's no way I could go and work after this. There's no way I could pick up a second job to make more money
And I'm
so that I
not
can
even-
invest that money into something
I'm not
else.
trying to say I'm the greatest in the world, because I have many faults and
I'm not saying
I've
this
owned
is
up to a lot of my mistakes and learned from them.
Sure.
But those people, I will tell them right now, you are not fit to be an entrepreneur. Because when shit hits the fan, it's not your regular 9 to 5 where, hey,
Right.
you know,
You can fall
you're
back
making
on a
the same
paycheck.
no matter
Right.
what. You're getting your paycheck at the end of the week, whatever.
Yes.
You fuck up, whatever. If you fuck up, you're fucked.
Only
You could
person who
lose
pays for it-
everything.
Only person who pays for it's you.
You can lose everything, you know?
Right. So I just wanted to make that.
If you're hurting, you need to work more. If you're tired, tough shit. You want to keep the lights on? You're not just letting you down. You're letting your clients down. You're letting your partner down. You're letting other trainers down, you know?
Yep.
Like there's when you own your own business, there's a lot of luxuries, right? There's a lot of benefits,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But there are so many stressful behind the scene factors that people don't see,
Right.
you know? It's all on you.
Yeah. So I didn't say that to pick on anyone in particular. I was just saying that in the sense of if you're thinking about, it doesn't even have to be about starting a personal training business or a training business or a gym. If you're thinking about starting your own business, these are things you kind of have to come to terms with. You need to be willing to do whatever it takes. Believe me, I'm sure you were probably what, 5 or 6, 25 at this time?
When I started it,
4?
when I started it,
Yeah.
I started it when
First
I was
year?
23 years old.
23. I'm sure 23-year-old Greg would have much rather spent his time doing a lot of other things. Most of us in our early 20s wanted to be doing other things. But that was the sacrifice that was needed in order to make these things happen. So when you're looking at it, the viewer, if you're looking at starting your own business and wanting to know what kind of sacrifice it may take in order to get yourself there, and you're trying to save up money and you're working your 9 to 5 right now, but you're going to go and jump into this, 9 to 5 is not enough.
It's not.
It's not. Be prepared to want and need to do more. Small little tangent. Back on track. After your partner died, you decided,
R.I.P., dude.
I'm done saying rest in peace because that means peace. Rest.
All right.
R.
He gone.
After the private
Like,
training
what the fuck happened to this
yeah, I
guy,
know.
dude?
Well, he's dead, so don't ask. After the private training studio closed, it was not like a closing and a
Yeah,
reopening.
we didn't
but it really
lose the
just
business or close. I bought him out.
and it turned right into a membership-based gym called
GVL Fitness, which has been my training name since I trained at Bally's, right? Like when my clients emailed me back in Bally, it was GVL Fitness. It's what I branded myself as back then. So even when I owned the training studio, which I'm not even going to mention the name, my clients still emailed GVL Fitness. I was still GVL Fitness to them.
Right.
The actual studio name was just the hub that I trained my business out of, you know?
So when that happened, there was a whole nother slew of expenses that came along.
Oh, yeah.
Not only, so again, you worked these 16-hour days, you made this money, you saved money aside to be in the position to when this thing happened and he died, you were able to buy him out and to buy his portion of the business. We don't have to talk about how much that was, but once that was done, you had to put X amount of money into this to not only purchase it from him, but then guess what? Came time to paint. Came time to change things around. Came time to make the front area an office or a waiting room for
Reception area, I guess.
for new clients that are coming in. Make it for members that are coming in, because now the gym is not just a private training studio. Now the gym is a membership-based gym. Have a locker room, have a place for people to put their stuff. I think we were doing a cubby system for a while. Little thing. Now all of a sudden there was more expenses that, besides having to purchase the other half of the business from your partner, you changed the color of the gym, you refurnished the front area of the gym, more equipment.
Yep.
Do you remember how much you spent on the initial
When
jump?
that first transition happened, I don't think it was anything crazy. I think it was like close to 20 grand between equipment, painting. We got some new apparel for marketing, clothing, shit like that. Desks, you know. I don't think it was crazy, but it was more so, hey, like, let's start small, try and start bringing people in, because we didn't know if it was going to work. I had a strong feeling, because while it was just a training studio, I had people always asking me, can I come work out there? Can I get a membership? Can I get a membership? And I was like, no, it's not really meant for that right now. You know,
Ain't that kind of place.
so I had a feeling that it would go well, but it was still risk. So we're like, hey, let's start small. Let's start with my clients getting memberships. Let's start with my competitive clients who are online clients right now coming and getting memberships. Let's just test the waters and see how it goes. Let's not literally just unleash at this point. Because I was a year into marriage at that point. Like, we're like, let's not dump our savings here.
Yeah.
But let's do enough to where we can see if it's going to bring the attention we want it to bring. Mm-hmm. You know?
And luckily it did.
Yeah.
But that was another $20,000
give or
investment
take.
into it to make that initial change. You still, if I remember correctly, from that switch, it was about the same working. This was also around the same time. This is pre-pizzeria closing.
I think I worked a little less hours then. Like when like at the peak, I think my hours that I was training was literally like 5 a.m. till 2 p.m. Okay. I would literally rush like a 45-minute workout, change real quick, and then I would train 3 to 8, right? And then I would leave and go to the pizzeria. I think when I started, when I bought him out,
It was
2017, I think I was training still 5 to 1, and then I think I was only training 3 to 6, and then I would go to the pizzeria.
And then if I remember correctly, the pizzeria closed in 18 or 19? 18.
The year before COVID, so 18.
18.
Yeah.
So
That last
You
year
were
is
still
why I
doing-
did it. My dad had his second spinal fusion, and that's why I did start working the 2 hours less in the evening.
right,
I was like,
because
okay,
you were
like
there.
I'm going to go there so he can go home. I'll take the second half of the rush hours, right? And then I'll stay there until we close up, clean up, do all of that, go home, and boom.
And luckily, again, things kind of worked out in the way that it did, because then you were just starting to make some money off of memberships. So working the difference
it
between
definitely-
16, and two different facets, I should say, not to answer for you, but not only were you getting the money from the memberships at that point, but then also your bodybuilding clientele base was started before this, but this was a point that I think it was
My online started growing.
growing
Correct.
faster.
I thought you were going to say pizzeria money. I was like, dude,
I don't
that
wanna
was
take-
volunteer work.
No, I know it
When you
wasn't
said
pizzeria.
two, I
money.
was like,
I'm not gonna take too much credit for this.
all right, go ahead.
I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for this.
All right, I might shut it down.
Somebody started competing, doing pretty good.
That's probably what happened. Business soared.
the social media phenom who did a show and just exploded. No, but those two things happened one in the same. You started with the membership started. That was pretty funny, right? That was good. The membership started bringing a little bit of money in, and then the online bodybuilding revenue started to pick up a little bit too.
Correct.
So that you didn't have to be training as many hours, which was nice because then you had to be at the pizzeria more right before your dad decided to make that decision to close it. Once he closed it, it gave you a little bit more freedom
Yeah.
to then say, well, now I can put even more, not just money,
Focus.
time, energy, focus into the gym itself, into GVL Fitness. Because there was waves of expansion and attention and focus given into the gym and how the gym has changed into what it was today.
Yeah.
There was different waves and focus and how your online client and bodybuilding clients changed. There's been waves and focuses to your in-person clients, how that changed. And I think whatever you want to say, everything happens for a reason. But once the pizzeria closed and there was a shift in focus, then there was another, I don't want to say big purchase of equipment, but there was another big change. We were building deadlift platforms. We were spending.
There was more equipment bought at that point.
Yep,
Yeah.
there was spending more time, and there was learning how to. That deadlift platform that has now lasted how long?
Fuck, dude. That was probably 18, so it's been 5 years at this point.
We built that deadlift platform.
We did.
We didn't buy it. We built it.
And we doubted it while we were doing it.
Yep.
I was like, Pat, you're going to help me build a deadlift platform. He's like, I don't know how to build it. I'm like, yeah, we're going to figure it out. Let's watch some YouTube videos.
If you remember back to minute 12 of this episode, Greg didn't ask me to help him.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
sat at the gym and waited until he was looking at the wood and the rubber. And I was like, I think I might be able to help with this. And then that's how it happened. Al Borland, Tim Allen.
Got it.
No, and you learned how to adapt to what stuff you can fix, what stuff you can buy. There was purchases of really sick old pullover machines that like you were gonna powder coat it and clean it up and do. It was a big learning process of sometimes you were investing in equipment that didn't work out.
Yep.
Sometimes you were
That was
investing in
I
things.
took an L on that one.
Yep,
Not only
sometimes
did I smash the back of my car trying to get it in, right? Which cost me money.
Yep.
Bought the equipment for money.
Sat outside.
Paid to reupholster it. Thank you, Sarno Sound Solutions. And didn't even be able to end up. That guy does everything.
It does everything.
Shout out to RSA Seating. But I tried to reupholster it. I couldn't even use the machine. After I painted it, did all that, it still couldn't get it to work. So it's a loss. But again, the point is, learned what I can and can't do well, right? I knew I'm not mechanically inclined, right? I need to pay people. I need to start paying people to service the equipment, to fix the equipment instead of trying to do it myself. Because I'm just making it worse and wasting money.
There were things that you were able to cut costs on because you had learned from the get. You bought new equipment. You saw how expensive it was. There were certain things that you didn't need to buy new. There was trips to abandoned malls to get rubber.
Yeah.
There were, I almost lost toes.
Yeah, that is true. I was hoping you forgot about that.
No, I remember. But there was building the platform. There was doing little things like that like they were smarter choices based on past failures that you knew needed to be done in order to not only save money, but keep the business growing and moving in the direction you wanted it to move. That second wave of equipment, do you remember? This was a longer wave. It wasn't like an initial thing.
The second wave, not including the one you just mentioned. So are you talking about the third?
Yeah, sorry, third wave. So not the GVL initial 20, because then it stayed like that for probably 6 months to a year. And then once the pizzeria closed, you kind of shifted focuses back to the gym a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you were pumping money into it because then that was the year right before COVID. It was a totally different gym first opening right before COVID.
Yeah, shit. That wasn't all at once though.
No, it was a
I'd
very
buy like
drawn.
3 pieces
it was
the next month. I'd buy like 4 pieces the next month. Like, yeah.
very drawn out.
Yeah.
So it was probably 5,000 here or
Yeah.
$2,000 here.
It was literally $5,000 here, $3,000 here, $8,000.
We'd drive to Lake in the Hills or to Cary or to Wisconsin. You and Vala went to Wisconsin.
It was easily. I mean, I have everything notated. But if I'm going just off the top of my head, because there were so many random trips for that. I mean, yeah, the one with Valo, we went to like Upper Peninsula, Michigan to get a Stairmaster. You know, that was $2,000 and this, that, whatever. You know, it had to be easily at minimum another 20, if not more, you know.
So at this point, if you've been keeping up with the numbers, that's $100,000
$110,000 worth of equipment so far.
into the gym. And then the freaking C word came around.
Yep.
The flippin' C.
Cunt. I mean,
Yep.
what?
Which,
You don't say that.
in hindsight,
Sorry, Mom. Was a great thing.
was a great thing.
Bad for some people.
Bad for
For
some people.
the fitness industry,
Good for others.
it was great.
I don't
Small
wanna,
business.
I don't want to get into all the little things about that. But after the gym was back open, membership started to grow again.
Yeah.
It allowed you to. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to speak for you. I know I've been doing it a lot, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak for you, but part of that, I know part of what you're going to say every time, so I keep wanting to stop myself. But memberships increased. Same time, your family increased.
That's right.
So then you shifted gears again, because again, you were still right before COVID.
I
and
was still working a lot. I stopped working the amount that I was after Alessandra was born.
right, but
I
even
realized how much I missed out with Alessia, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. We have more members now. I have more online clients now. Like, I need to be a fucking dad.
even after COVID, you were still working afternoons.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the same quantity, but you were still doing the 5 to 1 in the morning and then going and doing afternoon clients as well.
Yeah.
That wasn't until I'm getting my timelines muddied a little bit here as I'm
You
getting
probably know them better than me at this
as I'm
point,
getting
dude.
further down the line here. But you started focusing on here. I say here as in home. Pulling back so that you're not missing anything with your daughters. But as doing that, you knew that you needed to, again, shift and change things again, because you can't just stop working and expect to make the same amount of money, right?
Correct.
So that was, you can put it in your words, I'm sure where the shift came for expanding the gym itself. Because now you had almost maxed out that space. There was not,
There was no room, dude.
maybe one.
Dude, we tried, bro.
Maybe there was one
Many
more.
times we were like, all right, there's no way any more equipment can fit in here. And we would find a way.
Yep.
But I think we got to the last, maybe we could fit something in here, because it was tight, man.
It was.
It was tight.
And then again, you can go ahead and put it in your words. As Alessandra was born and you started to make this shift from not working in the afternoons anymore, you were able to make another adjustment within the business you kept adapting to, okay, now I need to find another way to keep the gym growing from what it already is. And that was the expansion to the warehouse gym.
Yep, the warehouse gym. We decided to rebrand for multiple different reasons. You know, GVL Fitness has always been my personal name, but now we had other trainers coming in, Patrick himself, and the idea is obviously to still grow and bring on more trainers, but it's kind of hard to market a gym for other people to bring their business on when the name of the gym is someone else's training business. So that was part of the reason why changing it over to the warehouse, but also kind of, hey, like, everyone's known this spot as a private training studio. Obviously the member base that's present, right, knows it as a gym, but we don't market. It's all referral based. We're like, let's try to kind of rebrand, make it more exciting, make more space for more people. Obviously still working on a referral tactic, right? But we figured we're in a warehouse. We like that very old school, hardcore feel. Michelle, we were on vacation one day. We're like, we need names. And Michelle, one day, we're laying there, she's like, the warehouse gym. And I was like, I fucking love it. And that was it.
Man, if only making names was that easy.
Yeah, Big Meech, dude. She's good, man.
She is pretty good.
She's good.
I gotta stop saying with the excitement of that expansion, more expenses too.
Yeah, that was another expensive
The
one.
rent just doubled.
Well, rent doubled, not to mention the fact that rent in a single unit was already double from when we originally got the first unit.
If you don't know how commercial real estate works, rent goes up every year.
Every year.
No matter what.
Especially in an industrial area like I am, where they don't do long-term leases in most cases, and my landlords do not. They're like, hey, listen, like most people use these for storage. Most people aren't long-term tenants. So you get a year-to-year lease, and here's our price, take it or leave it. And it would cost me way too much to pack my shit up and go somewhere else and potentially lose members, clients, whatever. So you bite the bullet and you suck it up. you know?
So not only did rent double, more than double since day one, you had to fill up a whole other half of the gym.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
For the expansion, I want to say not including paying someone to like frame out the women's locker room and, you know, the small things that we subbed out. I think it just equipment alone was another 45,000.
We're over 150.
Yep.
Over 150.
If I had to guess between repairs around the gym,
Yeah, I'm sure.
paint, this, that, whatever, all the little extras that, you know, just come and go throughout the years, plus all the equipment, all said and done, we're probably invested into the gym about 200,000 since 2013. From start to where we are present day.
Yeah, there's a whole room full of mirrors.
Yeah.
You know how expensive mirrors are?
Each mirror was like 8 something, I think, plus install, plus, you know,
I can't believe I didn't put that in my notes. Mirrors are so expensive.
mirrors are
It's
expensive.
too late for me to put it in there now, but
Yeah.
when I put
It's there. It's there.
I'm a MIRR. When I was in my little notes here that I put, I talked about water, heat, electric, garbage, all these things, right? We talked about equipment. Freaking mirrors
You know,
are
Big Meech is
expensive.
going to listen to this, right? And she's going to have a heart attack and be like, you spent how much money?
On mirrors? She's gonna say they got
No,
mirrors.
She knows. She knows. She probably hasn't done the individual math throughout the years. She knows when we're spending it at the time. Like I'm an open book with her. You know that, right? Not everyone else does. And she's smart. She knows if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? So she's all about putting money into the business if we're going to get a return out of it. She's good in that sense. But now she's going to listen to this episode and start tallying and being like, you motherfucker, you know?
She is. She's gonna be like, you built a room full of mirrors? These kids don't have mirrors.
And the lights don't work?
She goes, these kids don't have mirrors at their house? You have to put them in a room full of mirrors at the gym?
My kids got mirrors, dude.
No, not your kids.
Oh.
The members.
Oh.
These kids don't like,
You maybe you'll think my kids are sleeping in a closet, dude.
they don't even know what they look like. My daughters have no idea what they look like. I don't want them to know until they're older. No, I'm talking about the members.
Yeah.
The members don't have mirrors.
They don't. Yeah,
No.
I get it. That was more so for clients and for you and me to take posing clients too, and other.
No, I
trainers
know
take
why
posing
we.
clients too.
I know why we
But-
used it. Yes.
Yes,
I was just
the
a,
kids.
a funny joke that
Big Meech.
the Big Meech might not understand because she's all about the Benjamins. She don't care about whether you like the posing room or not.
Yeah, she don't give no fuck.
She don't. Last little tidbit I wanted to touch on.
This is the last one. I was just heating up, dude.
Well, first off, we just updated all the way up until last year.
I'm.
Remember that only happened last year.
Well, it's
remember?
not future. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on
okay, well-
slightly.
I won't cut you off.
Not going into those again. We're not going back to the little thing that you're keeping people on cliffhangers on. I'm not asking about outside stuff. I'm not asking about any of that. Plans for the gym and training moving forward. If you want to discuss either.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'll backtrack. It's still going to kind of answer to that question, but I guess first and foremost, when we were just talking about me training less now, and we were talking about Alessandra being born, and you know, memberships allowing me to be at home more. That was all part of the plan, with or without her, right? Obviously, she was the push to make it happen faster. I was like, I want to be a dad.
Yeah.
But it was always part of the plans that, hey, listen, like as my online grows and the memberships grow, my heart is in my competitors, right? Like my heart is with all my clients, right?
Right.
But we all know my passion is bodybuilding, right? So
name.
my goal ultimately was to one day potentially be a gym owner who is working, you know, pretty much primarily with competitive clients, right? Like that's what interests me. That's what drives me every day. Like that's something that I know I can't really make my life right now. You know, we've kind of weighed out the pros and cons and figured like for a family man and stuff like that and business owner, like this is better for me, right? But I still wish that I was actively prepping and getting on a stage and like having that competitive edge that I miss, right? Like just from growing up, playing sports, whatever. So I love the fact that I can still do that with a competitive client. And that's why my goal since I started getting into competing or working with competitors was one day to primarily work with competitive clients, right? Do the full-time coaching ordeal, run the gym, and not really have to train in person. So as the gym started growing, as the online started growing, and I was able to backtrack a little bit with clients, yes, it allowed me to be at home more. But what people don't realize is once I leave the gym, like I'm not done working. Like I guarantee you, I'm on do not disturb right now. But if I open up that phone, I probably have 30 something messages, right? Like I'm still working once I go home. I'm still answering to clients, whether it's questions about their program that night, their workouts that I might have adjusted for them, if it's they had something not digest well with them or whatever. Like I'm still constantly catering to them.
Sure.
But once competitive season starts, right?
It's nonstop.
It's nonstop. So I wanted to be able to, if I'm training 16 hours of clients a day, I can't give these people the attention that they deserve, that they're paying for, right? So I wanted to be able to not only spend more time with my family, but be able to put more focus on them. And I think that some of them understand it. And I think that some of them are like, hey, Greg, why aren't you at the gym? It's 7 p.m. I want to see my coach, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm at home, man, so I can focus on you. You know, if you want to get a session in and you want me to take you through something and show you something, like book a session, we'll get it done, right? But
there's unfortunately not enough time in the day for us to sit and BS with people.
yes, if you want me just to be at the gym
And
to shake your hand, and I don't mean it in a bad way.
No, I didn't mean to say.
I love the
BS
fact that I
negatively.
train clients on Mondays now. Like I started taking bodybuilders through workouts and Monday afternoons more so for the fun of it and to offer it to them, right? But I love it, right? I love seeing everybody because the afternoon crowd is a bunch of people that I don't see as often anymore. And I do love it. But from an everyday standpoint, right? For me to be there, the hours that I'm there with clients, 5 to 1, plus working out, whatever, and then leaving around 2, 3 o'clock, whatever. For me to be there every day until 8, 9 p.m., just so I could shake hands and wave.
Kiss babies.
Not only am I gonna lose my family life.
You're missing kissing these babies.
I'm gonna lose my family life, but I'm not. The competitive clients that may be coming in those hours and waving to me and shaking my hand and laughing for 5 minutes until they go and start their workout,
Right.
which is great, right? But once they start their workout, they forget that I'm fucking sitting up front anyway, right? So what about all the other people who need my attention, who are messaging me and asking questions, and I need to actually spend time focusing on it and pulling up their plans and comparing things and cross-referencing and then actually re-prescribing things, you know? So it doesn't make sense to be there all the time at this point. You know, it actually hurt me more so than benefit me, and I think some people don't see that.
Right.
But regardless.
And even bigger picture than all of that, you're still at the gym.
More than most people's actual work hours.
Yes. And what people don't understand, and this is something that I'm seeing more and more now too, right? Different times that I'm being at the gym that you might not be there. If I'm there in the afternoon or in the late or early evening sometimes, there's a great group of people that come into the gym around that time.
Yeah.
Shout out to, you know who you are.
Yeah.
Shout out to those people.
I love them all, dude.
I'll finish training clients sometimes, and I just want to run out that door. Like run.
I think what some people forget though is like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's nothing personal.
No,
but that's still your workplace.
Correct.
Right?
Imagine you being at your job, you just clocked out, but you're going to stand around and wait and talk for another hour after you just clocked out.
Knowing you got to be back and you got to wake up at 3:30 in the morning.
Right. And
you got to go home. You want to shower. You want to eat.
Saying
you know you have more work to do via email, right? And
I was using myself as an example because this is something you've already done. I'm currently doing it. You did it before, and now you've transitioned away and out of it. And I'm saying this to help make your point, is that you've already been at the gym for 10 hours that day.
Yeah.
You're not there because you don't want to help the clients and see the people.
That's what's fucked up, though, is people don't realize when I'm leaving at 2 or 3 p.m.,
I know.
I'm I've already been there
It's the
for 10 hours.
It's the funniest
You're
thing.
leaving already?
It's the funniest thing when I'm finished training.
I forget, you worked 4 hours today. You're telling me you're tired, dickhead.
know.
Let
It's-
me go home and sleep, dude.
Most of the time I try not to say anything, but I'll leave and like say I only have a 3 to 4 o'clock client and I'll be done at 4 and I'm leaving. They're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, I've been here since 5 a.m. What do you mean that's it? Yes, that's it. I'm going home.
My 11 hours are in.
Yes, I'm going
going
home.
home.
I'm done.
I want to shower. I want to eat.
Yeah, I've been helping sweaty people all day long. I'm going home to shower and eat some food.
Yeah.
And you did that for a very long time, and now you don't have to do that. And you were giving a very long-winded answer towards wanting to give more attention to body.
Yeah, so I want to be home, obviously, to be a family man, right? Like
Yep.
that was one of the things that I'm not going to get into a long-winded answer, or at least try not to. But like, love my dad. My dad was an amazing father, but my dad was someone who my mom stayed home. Michelle stays home. You know, my dad worked to provide, right? So he had restaurants, pizzerias, you name it, right? So he was gone all day. Weekends, he was gone. Football games, he wasn't there. Like, you know what I mean? So I had to start working at 11 just because I wanted to see my dad. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd be in the pizzeria with him all day long, right?
Yep.
And it wasn't because my parents wanted me to. It was because I wanted to.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah, so-
those are times.
Love pizza.
I love pizza. But that's part of the reason why.
Sure.
You know, it's the nostalgia of it, right?
Yep.
But we'll get into that. It's a whole nother
We could
episode.
talk about pizza for
Dude, don't even get me started,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like, that's my thing with my kids, right? Is like, the fact that I've known my whole life that I want to work to a point where I get myself in a position where I could be the one to be able to pick my kid up from school. I could, like, I take them to dance twice a week, right? Like, I could go to dance class with them. I could do those things with them. I could eat dinner with them. Like, I wanted to work to that point. And everyone's like, oh, but you're young. Keep working, keep hustling. Like, I am. I'm trying to work on other things, right? That I can do from home at this point, right? So the gym, I did that. I did those 16 plus hour days knowing that I wanted to get to the point where I didn't have to be hands-on 16 plus hours by the time I started a family, you know? So that's why I started growing my business at 18 years old, opened up the gym at 23 years old. So by 32 or whatever it was, I was able to kind of downsize the hands-on part, but be able to spend time with my family, but also now cater to my online business from home, cater to the meal prep company from home, you know, be able to grow other streams of revenue, without having to physically be somewhere. The whole work smarter, not harder. I worked harder when I was younger, so I could be smarter now, right?
And there's a message in there and that I will share with others because as an example of myself, was a late bloomer in the sense of starting my business and creating a life for myself. Just because Greg started at 18, don't take that message away saying you can't also create something for yourself and still have time for your family and do those things. The takeaway is when it's time to work,
It's time to fucking work.
it's time to work.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean if you didn't start at 18, you can't do this as well. Whether you're 30,
I agree.
there's a bunch of like, you search the internet, there's a bunch of motivational people who like started companies at like 40 and they grew to be these amazing, wonderful
The
things.
richest person I personally know didn't start working towards what grew their empire until they were 37.
Right.
They spun their wheels.
Yep.
You know,
It happens.
And now he's 70 and he's worth, no exaggeration, hundreds of millions. And he always told me, it's not how much you make, it's what you do with the money you make and what you do with the time you have.
Right. So
Sleep on that.
boom, that was good, dude. I
That was
like
good.
that.
Dude, that was his quote. Though.
I
can't
know
even
his,
take that.
I know his, who he is.
You know who he is.
I'd never, but I know him.
You know, yep.
Yeah. So great quote from
The voice change.
From
That's
that's my favorite. That's my favorite part. Is there anything else you want to touch on by this episode? I'm not going to talk about my business at all because after you just did all that, I got nothing to say.
No, you can.
Dude, we've been here for like an hour and 20.
Oh, has it been that long?
My knees have been hurting for a while.
We'll get it off. But all
1:15. I guess not an hour and 20.
right, go ahead. 5 minutes. Go. Boom. All right, I didn't talk.
Hey,
I didn't.
you know how I just talked about your mind for an hour? No.
I'll give you
the,
5.
The point of this was not to talk about me. The point of this was to talk about your business anyway.
Did I
didn't say
fully answer your last one? Though I don't think I did.
that.
Plans for the future.
Yeah, give me a
I
very
gave
brief
you more so
your mindset. You didn't give me the
why
actual.
I
Right.
did what I did to be where I'm at today.
Right.
For the future, the plan is to continue growing the gym at this point. I'm no longer taking in-person clients on, right? Unless you're a competitive client and you want to book sessions with me in your off-season or your contest prep, that I am now offering to open up to people, right? In select hours, you guys know what it is. If you're a new client, message me. But other than that, it's my in-person clients that I have now, I'm keeping, right? Over time, though, the day is to the idea is as I have a little bit of fall off, right, from my non-lifers, I'm not replacing them. Like if I have an 11 a.m. be like, hey, listen, like I'm moving or I lost my job, I can't come. I'm not rebooking that hour. I'm leaving it open, and the idea is to hopefully by next year,
Condense.
maybe
Condense as
only
those-
train in person Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, right? And have more time to focus on growing the gym itself and my online business. You know, I want to expand with the gym. And I don't mean expand by adding other locations, but whether it's growing or revamping what we have at the current location, or it's buying a standalone building and having a place where we don't have to worry about parking or noise or anything like that, and be able to fully build exactly what I dream of, right? But other than that, it's less hours is the goal in the next year of in-person clients and growing online, growing in person, and then working on other businesses around the gym, right? Like,
Don't talk about them.
well, we'll talk about BAM because it already exists.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like the meal prep company, putting more focus on that, not having so much be on my dad, right? Like things like that. Me and Michelle have a couple things in the works that we're trying to do. And majority of it's all going to be fitness related. It's still going to coincide with the gym and my clients themselves, right? But it's, again, it's going back to that work smarter, not harder. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love the industry that I'm in. And the goal is to continue to be able to make that a possibility while still
priorities
more
in your
balance.
Continuing to make that happen while the priorities in your life shift.
correct. That's it, man.
Cool.
Should I mic drop?
No.
Oh,
Anything else you want to say? We talked about you for like an hour and 20.
yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about myself because it's kind of awkward talking about yourself for an hour and 20.
Well, normally-
Your glasses made it a little bit more easy though.
Yeah, and I asked you questions about yourself.
Yes.
I didn't just tell you to talk about yourself.
Yeah, because that would have been real weird. And I probably would have said, I don't need help.
Imagine I was like, go. I was just like, hey, today we're going to talk about business. Go. Tell me everything.
Oh, I could have taught you a lot, dude.
Yeah. There's a whole slew of like fun stories within that we could have like gone on.
I tried not to go
I
on
know.
tangents.
But that was good. I think the people are going to like that.
Good. I hope the people like it. And if you don't, please still like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And
And don't forget, sorry, not to cut you off.
geez.
Back to what we originally started with. We get these questions about business. This was our interpretation of what we thought you guys were looking for from a business
Be
standpoint.
specific.
This was, I thought, the best way to start the conversation about business by talking about Greg's business and how it's changed over the 16 years that he's been a trainer into what it is right now.
Yes.
If you want to hear something else, if you want
to
to
hear more specifics about how Pat and I operate our business, or the best way to go about starting a business, even if it's not fitness related, fire away.
Yeah.
If you have more questions about anything, not even about business, if we're going back to the bodybuilding side and you want to talk more about training or whatever, just be more specific. We're not trying to ignore your questions, but when they're kind of very open-ended, we try to skip those because we don't want to talk in circles. So
the more vague they are, the harder they are for us to answer.
give us the specifics, give us the nitty gritty. And if we don't post a anonymous question thing and you still want questions, just DM one of us, DM the Bodybuilding and Business page, comment in the Instagram, comment on the YouTube, tell us what you want to hear. But again, be specific.
Yep.
We want to help you guys. We want to answer these questions, and it's fun talking about them, but we want to make sure we're actually giving you the content that you guys want.
We're sitting here because we want to sit here, but we also enjoy giving you the answers to the questions you're looking for.
And because San Pellegrino sponsors me. So
Dude,
we got to get you a sponsor, dude.
Yeah, I've got
I don't think
nothing.
these guys are paying.
I
much,
have
dude.
nothing in my life. I'm sponsored by Bam Preps.
You are, dude.
I know.
Hey, man.
And Elite Sports Nutrition.
Yeah.
That's 3 episodes in a row that guy's gotten shouted out.
Shout out Big D, man.
That's too many of it. No, it's too many. Take one away from him. No. All right. I think that's it.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go eat something, dude. I'm getting pretty hungry.
Yeah, me too. My stomach's over.
My skinny body can't take this anymore.
Yeah, dude, you're so shredded.
I know, dude.
All right. Bye, guys.
The people know.